الله الرحمن الرحيم والليل إذا يغشى والنهار إذا تجلى وما خلق الذكر والأنثى.
Okay, stop. All right. The word al-dhakara, is this a qamari or shamsiya word? And the word actually has a ra at the end. Is this a full mouth ra or whispered ra? Al-dhakara. Right? If the ra has a fatha, you didn't stop. You have to make it fill up the mouth. And it's a shamsiya word like you said. So you got to be careful. But continue.
إن سعيكم لشتى فأما من أعطى
Okay,
واتقى.
stop. Now, in the ayah, فَأَمَّا مَنْ أَعْطَى وَاتَّقَى. What is the rule here? What is the rule of the nun sakin in man a'ta?
It has to be clear.
All right. What is the rule? What is the rule of that category you're talking about? That's the ruling. You're correct about the sound, but we asked you for the rule.
إدغام.
Idhar. Right? It's not idgham, it's idhar. And why is it idhar? Why should it be clear?
Because it's an alif.
Okay, and it came after the nun sakin. Alif, the hamza came after the nun sakin. All right, but you have to say the word correctly. A'ta.
أعطى.
What's the next word?
واتقى.
All right, so go back and say the whole entire ayah again.
فأما من أعطى واتقى.
Okay, ayn sukun is what? What is the sound of ayn sukun? What is the sound of ayn sukun?
عين.
Come again.
عين.
Ay. That sounds like a ya sukun, but not an ayn sukun. There we go. That sounds more like it. All right. So that's what you need to come out with over here because this is an ayn sukun. I don't know what you made up, but say it again now. The whole ayah.
فأما من أعطى واتقى.
That's better. Say it again.
فأما من أعطى واتقى.
Okay, it's not wataqa. Wattaqa because you have a shadda on top of the ta. Okay, and it's going to keep coming up. The taqwa has, the Quran is about having taqwa. Seriously. All right, what's next?
وصدق بالحسنى.
That's good. Continue.
فسنيسره لليسرى.
Good. Next ayah.
وأما من بخل وصدق.
Okay, that's where you're going to stop right there. When you have a nunu sakin or a tanween, there's a rule that's going to have to apply. So what rule are you going to apply here for this nunu sakin? Say what you just said.
إقلاب.
Right. So why did you give it clear sound? Because you don't like iqlab or something? Because iqlab is in minority?
No, teacher.
So why did you give it clear sound? That's the question. So be careful. Again, if you see a noon with a little meme on top of it, a noon sakin with a little meme on top of it, a fatha kasra dhamma with a little meme inside of it, this is always going to be your tanween and your noon sakin, respectively. Whatever. Anyway, look. Man bakhila wa amma man bakhila wastaghna.
وأما من بخل.
وأما, if it's a noon or meme that has shadda, you take your time, they're 2 seconds minimum. And they also have nasal, these noon and meme, because they came from idgham side. Go ahead.
وأما من بخل
Not man bakhila. Alright? It's man bakhila. Man bakhila. That's how you integrate it. Man bakhila. See, the noon is silent. That's what noon sakin means. Silent noon. Okay?
وأما من
Don't say
بخل
man. It's not man. Man bakhila.
وأما من بخل واستغنى
And don't say bakhila. Alright? Lam fatha is not la. Is it? What's lam fatha?
لا
Right. So why are you stretching it? So you need to make sure you note these mistakes also. You have to use your pencil and make sure you don't make them again. So again, وَأَمَّا مَن بَخِلَ وَاسْتَغْنَى.
وأما من بخل واستغنى
There you go with the khla again. It's not la. بَخِلَ وَاسْتَغْنَى. Say the word again.
بخل واستغنى
واستغنى. Right? This is a ta. واستغنى.
واستغنى
Good. Very good, right? But again, make sure you don't confuse the ta and the ta. They sound very, very similar, but they're not the same letter.
وكذب بالحسنى
Okay, say the ha correctly. Ha dhamma is not ha. Ha dhamma is not ha or hu. Okay? It's hu bil husna.
وكذب بالحسنى
Again,
وكذب بالحسنى
the dhal has a shadda also. So make sure you make good tashdeed on the dhal. وكذب بالحسنى.
وكذب بالحسنى
Good. Continue.
فسنيسره للعسرى
Again.
فسنيسره للعسرى
Try to go a little faster.
فسنيسره للعسرى
للعسرى عين ضمة عو. فسنو again.
فسنيسره للعسرى
فسنيسره هو.
فسنيسره للعسرى
Okay, continue. Continue.
وما يغني عنه ماله إذا تردى
Again.
وما يغني عنه
وما يغني. Stretch it a little bit.
وما يغني عنه ماله
Don't say عنه. It's عنه. عين فتحة is ع. وما يغني عنه.
وما يغني عنه ماله إذا تردى
ماله. You gotta stretch it a little bit more than normal because it has a alamat al-maddi on top of that. Wow.
ماله إذا تردى
تردى. تردى.
تردى
تردى. Has a shadda on the dal.
تردى
تردى. تردى.
تردى
Yeah, the dal has a shadda again. Continue.
إن علينا للهدى
Again.
إن علينا للهدى
Okay, the ayn is the issue right now. Say it again.
للهدى
Make a stronger stand on the noon.
إن علينا للهدى
Yeah, but you gotta make sure you sound off in ayn. إن علينا للهدى.
إن علينا للهدى
إن علينا للهدى.
إن علينا للهدى
Okay, let's recite this one together. وإن لنا
وإن لنا
للآخرة والأولى.
للآخرة والأولى.
Everybody together. Is there just one of you left now? وإن لنا للآخرة والأولى.
وإن لنا للآخرة والأولى.
فأنذرتكم نارا تلظى.
فأنذرتكم نارا تلظى.
Okay, so we have issues now. So ikhfa again, you gotta be careful. What is the rule of the nun sakin in the first word? Alright, so you cannot say fa'an. You cannot make a clear nun sakin if you do not have an idhar letter there. What does that letter belong to? Where does the letter belong to? What letter comes after the nun sakin in the first word? Zal. And where does the zal belong to? Right. Is it so? It's not a clear sound. You cannot give it clear sound. You can't give the zal a clear sound if it doesn't belong to the clear category. All right.
Yes, teacher.
So you have to give it nasal again. فَأَنذَرْتُكُمْ. Don't say ang. Okay, it's not heavy. It's a light. That is not a qaf or a ta or a dad. Right? It's not a heavy. It's a light. فَأَنذَرْتُكُمْ نَارًا تَلَظَّى. All right, so we have a tanween. We have nun sakin's partner, tanween. Tanween is over there. And we say it's partners because, it's three of them, at least. So what is the rule of the nun sakin of the tanween? نَارًا تَلَظَّى. What's the rule here? Gotta know 'em. Ta belongs to what category? Because ta came after the tanween. If you recall in your old books, they gave you the ra fathataini with an alif. So they go hand in hand. So the problem now is you don't know where ta falls under. Where does ta fall under? Ikhfa. And it's light ikhfa. It's not heavy ikhfa. It's not a qaf. It's not a ta. It's not a dad. It's not a sad. It's a ta. It's light. نَارًا تَلَظَّى. Say again. Don't say نَارًا. نَارًا تَلَظَّى. Lightly. فَأَنذَرْتُكُمْ نَارًا تَلَظَّى. And don't say فَأَنذَرْ. It's not a dha. Dhal and dha, they're separate letters. So I'm going to make sure I send you that video so you can brush up on your tongue letters. But it's light. فَأَنذَرْتُكُمْ نَارًا تَلَظَّى. لا يصلاها إلا الأشقى. All right, so that's a sword, not a sin. يصلاها يصلاها. Say again. لا يصلاها. لا يصلاها. It's not a ha, it's a ha. You gotta feel the chest. Otherwise, you're not saying it correctly. All right? Speak up. لا يصلاها إلا الأشقى. Not إلال. إلال is different. It's spelled different from إلا الأشقى. إلا الأشقى. Yeah, you're combining the Qamariya word. Al-Ashqa is Qamariya, but illa, you see this word? You have to make sure that you know this word very well, because you're confusing it with ila, which is it has a ya in ila, and they both come in a lot of times in the Quran anyway. But repeat the ayah. لا يصلاها إلا الأشقى. الذي كذب وتولى. الذي كذب وتولى. وسيجنبها الأتقى. وسيجنبها الأتقى. الذي يؤتي ماله يتزكى. الذي يؤتي ماله يتزكى. وما لأحد عنده من نعمة تجزى. All right, you have problems with your tajweeds sounding here. How you're sounding off the sounds, they're not upon tajweed justification. So what is the first one we're looking at? Tanween or Nun Sakin? What is the first tajweed rule that we can spot here? Tanween or Nun Sakin? Okay, that is incorrect because we have. Why do we see the Nun Sakin? Where do you see a Nun Sakin?
Nowhere.
You don't see Nun Sakin anywhere. Okay, do you agree or disagree with him?
Disagree.
Okay, where do you see a Nun Sakin? What word? Where is the rule? Where is the Nun Sakin in the ayah? وَمَا لِأَحَدٍ عِنْدَهُ مِنْ نِعْمَةٍ تُجْزَى. Come again? Okay, that's one. Okay, what else do you see? You don't see any more?
No.
How about the word before it? What is the word before this? What is the word before min?
Ahad.
Okay, correct. Indahu. So you don't see a nun sakin in indahu?
In the middle.
In the middle. So why you didn't recognize it? What happened? So what is the rule of? You have to be careful. It can happen in the middle. It can happen at the end, like it did with the other word. You know. So you have to be careful. Don't just say jump over things. Okay. So what is the rule of this nun sakin? What letter came after the nun sakin? A dal. What category does dal belong to? Does it belong to idhar?
Ikhfa.
Okay, so you cannot say indahu because then you're making the noon clear. All right? And that means that the dal belongs to idhar, but the dal belongs to ikhfa. How about the word before this one? Does it have a tanween?
Yes.
All right, so what's the problem? Why you do not recognize that this has a tanween? You were asked where the tajweed rules, noon sakin and tanween. You couldn't recognize this to be the tanween? You have to know what tanween is. What is the rule of this tanween?
Kasratayni.
Okay, what is the rule? What rule does it fall under? We know it's kasratayni, that's a tanween. Tanween kasratayni. But now what sound are we going to give it? That's the rule. What sound are we going to give this tanween?
Ikhfa.
Why ikhfa?
Because of the dal.
Because of dal. Okay, don't get yourself confused, okay? It's not the letter that actually has the tanween, but it is the letter that comes after the tanween. Okay? So try again. What is the rule of this tanween? You know it? Say it.
Ikhfa.
Ikhfa was given earlier, that was already wrong. Try something else. What letter came after the tanween?
Iqlab.
Okay, now you're just guessing. What letter came after the tanween?
Idgham.
Excuse me. What letter came after the tanween?
Ain.
Ain. All right? So you're calling out all these names guessing. You already know what category ain is going to be in. So why you don't just say the name of that category? That's going to be the rule of that nun sakin wa tanween. Does that make sense?
Yes, teacher.
Very good. So now tell me something. What is the rule of this tanween now that you know, since it makes sense? Okay, so you still do not know.
Ikhfa.
All right. You answered ikhfa before, didn't you? What?
Idgham.
Idhar. Okay. So why is it idhar?
Because the ain.
Because the ain what? What about the ain?
Comes after the tanween.
Okay, what about the ain which you said comes after the tanween? Okay. So that one can be clear, but the rest of these, they're not going to be clear. So if you read the entire ayah, the second to last word also has a tanween there too. It has kasratayni. And what letter comes after, and what is the rule of this kasratayni going to be? What is the rule of this kasratayni going to be? The rule of this tanween is going to be what?
Ikhfa.
Ikhfa. Why is it going to be ikhfa?
Because the jim comes after tanween.
Because the what?
The jim comes after tanween.
The jim does not come after the tanween. The jim came after the ta. Right? You got to realize. Because if you pick the wrong letter, you have light and heavy ikhfa. You know, the ta is a light ikhfa, the qaf is not. Right? But don't give it an ithhar sound. You cannot say ni'matin tujza. You cannot do that because it's not, the ta does not belong to ithhar. وَمَا لِأَحَدٍ عِندَهُ مِن نِعْمَةٍ تُجْزَى. Repeat.
وما لأحد عنده
Not عنده. عنده
عنده من نعمة تجزى
إلا ابتغاء وجه ربه الأعلى.
أو ابتغاء وجه ربه الأعلى
إلا ابتغاء وجه ربه الأعلى.
إلا ابتغاء وجه ربه الأعلى
ولسوف يرضى.
ولسوف يرضى
ولسوف يرضى.
ولسوف يرضى.
اللهم صل
اللهم صل
على سيدنا محمد
على سيدنا محمد
وعلى آل سيدنا محمد
وعلى آل سيدنا محمد
وبارك والسلام عليه.
وبارك وسلم عليه.
سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون
سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون
وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. وسلام على المرسلين
السلام عليكم
والحمد لله رب العالمين.